Morning, Charlie. How you doing? Good. Just do me a favor. Keep your voice up and stay close to that microphone because the acoustics are kind of bad in this courtroom. Okay. Charlie, can you tell the jury how old you are?
I'm 19 years old.
And do you go to school?
I go to Central Connecticut State University.
And what are you studying?
Construction management.
And are you working for the summer?
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm an intern for a construction company.
Now, have we met before today?
Yes, we have.
How many times did we meet?
Twice.
And why did we meet?
Discuss this.
And back on May 14th of 2022, how old were you?
16 years old.
And did you go to school?
Yes.
Where did you go to school?
Shawn High School.
And what year were you?
I was a junior.
And did you play any sports?
Yes.
What did you play?
I played baseball.
And are you familiar with an individual by the name of Ryan Hines?
Yes.
How are you familiar with him?
He's a friend. He was my baseball teammate. He's a good friend of mine.
State's Exhibit 56. Can you tell us who's in State's 56?
Ryan Hines.
Are you familiar with an individual by the name of Griffin Marcinzik?
Yes.
How are you familiar with Griffin Marcinzik?
He's a childhood friend and still one of my best friends today.
I want to direct your attention to later on in the night on May 14th of 2022. Did you attend a party anywhere that night?
Yes.
And what party did you attend?
Party at 43 Laurel Glen Drive.
And who lives there?
Tyler Rich.
And I'll show you State's Exhibit 5. Do you know whose house that is?
It's Tyler Rich's house.
Now, what time of day would you say you got to Tyler Rich's house?
9:30 to 10. Maybe.
And was it what was the lighting out like?
It was dark outside.
Was it dark out where you couldn't see in front of you, pitch black? What was it like?
I was able to see in front of me, but I wasn't pitch black out.
Now, when you got to Tyler Rich's house on that night, how many people were at Tyler Rich's house? Do you recall?
Around 30 people.
And what kinds of things were going on at Tyler Rich's house?
Drinking, social gathering, just hanging out with friends.
And when you say drinking, what kind of things were people drinking?
Beer.
And how did you get to Tyler Rich's house?
I drove.
And when you got to Tyler Rich's house initially, did you have anything to drink at that point?
No,
Why not?
because I was driving.
How long would you say you were at Tyler Rich's house for initially in the beginning?
Probably half an hour to 45 minutes.
And after about half hour to 45 minutes, did you have an occasion to leave Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Why did you leave?
I received a call from a friend, Ryan Hines, that he has just gone to a fight and kicked out of a party and wanted to see if I could pick him up.
And did you, in fact, go pick him up?
Yes.
Where did you go?
To this girl named Natalia's house. I don't know her address. It's in Shelton.
How'd you get there? Did you?
I drove.
Okay. Did you put a GPS on and kind of follow Waze or something?
Yeah.
So when you got to Natalia's house, who did you pick Ryan up?
Yes, I picked up Ryan and Griffin Marcinzik.
And when you picked up Ryan and Griffin, did you leave Natalia's house immediately?
Yes.
When you picked them up, was it just the two of them?
Yes.
Did Ryan have anything with him?
I don't recall.
You don't recall? Do you recall whether or not did you see either Griffin or Ryan drinking that night?
Yes, they were drinking.
Were they drinking before or after they got to Tyler Rich's house?
Let's say before.
At some point in time, you brought him back to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
And when you got back to Tyler Rich's house, actually withdrawn, on the way over to Tyler Rich's house, did you talk to Griffin and Ryan about what had happened earlier on in the night?
Yes.
And did they inform you about what had happened?
Yes.
And at some point in time, you got back to Tyler Rich's house. Were you aware of a group chat that was going on at all?
No, I was not.
And when you got back to Tyler Rich's house, how did you guys go in the house? Do you recall?
Through the basement doors.
Okay. And where are the basement doors located?
On the right side of his house.
And when you got back down there, what happened when you got back down to the basement?
Same stuff that was going on before. Talking, people were asking questions to Ryan and Griffin. What happened to you guys?
Now, are you familiar with Faison Teal?
Yes.
How are you familiar with Faison?
Classmate, grade above me. Just known him for we played football together.
Showing you States 54, Who is this individual?
That's Faison Tio.
Was he at Tyler Rich's house that night?
Yes.
Did you have occasion to talk to him that night?
Yeah.
States 55, can you tell us who this is?
That's my brother, Charlie Connery.
And was he at Tyler's house that night?
Yes.
And States 57, do you know who this is?
That's Jimmy McGrath.
And how do you know Jimmy?
Football, basketball teammate growing up, childhood friend. Hung out with him every
And
weekend.
was he at Tyler Rich's house that night?
Yes, he was.
Did you have an occasion to talk to Jimmy throughout the night that night?
Yes, we had a conversation.
When you got back to Tyler Rich's house, did you drink anything?
After picking up Griffin and Hines?
Yes.
Yes.
What did you drink?
I had 2 Bud Lights.
And what time would you say you got back to Tyler Rich's house at that point? When you got back initially?
Around 11, maybe earlier.
Okay. And at some point in time when you were back at Tyler Rich's house, did you become aware of any type of group chat that was going on at that point?
No.
How long would you say you were back at Tyler Rich's house before withdrawing? Did you become aware at some point that a car had arrived in front of Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
How did you become aware of that?
I've heard that the kids that just fought Ryan and Griffin were outside, so I went outside to go talk to them.
Now, prior to the car showing up, how long would you say you were back at Tyler Rich's house for? What was that?
Half an hour, maybe a little bit more.
Okay. And when you went outside, do you recall how you went outside?
Yes.
How did you go outside?
I went to the basement doors, so around the front yard,
Okay.
and the car was across the street of the front yard, and I went over and talked to the person in the passenger seat.
So States 49, can you indicate on States 49 where you saw the car pull up initially?
Like the beginning of the road on the right side, going down the road, facing down the road, right there.
Right here? So facing this way or facing this way?
Facing that.
Facing up?
Yeah.
Okay, so the record can reflect the witnesses identified the area just north of the intersection of Adams and Laurel Glen, just to the left of where it appears to be a group of trees on the property across from 43 Laurel Glen.
So noted.
And you walked over to the car?
Yes.
Do you recall who you walked over to the car with? Was there anybody with you?
I don't recall.
Was there people with you, though, when you walked over?
Yes.
How many people would you say were with you at the time?
8 to 10.
And when you walked over, you spoke to somebody in the car?
Yes.
What side of the car did you speak to them in?
Passenger side.
Passenger, so the right side of the car, if the car's looking that way?
Yes. No side of the car.
Okay, front passenger or rear passenger?
Front.
And who did you speak to in the front passenger?
Tyler De Silva.
And what kinds of things were you telling him?
I asked him what he did, and I was with him the week before, and I told him that, like, I like you, like, I think you're a good kid. I know your cousins. I grew up with them, and I said, just leave. Like, there just don't want any problems. Just leave.
And how do you know Tyler De Silva?
I know his cousins from growing up playing baseball, and a week prior to that, I was with Tyler De Silva and his friends.
Okay. Did you notice anybody else in the car at this point in time?
Yes,
Who else did you notice?
Jack Snyder
And where was Jack Snyder?
driving.
How do you know Jack Snyder?
I was also with him the week before that.
Did you notice anybody else in the car at this point?
Yes, but I couldn't recognize faces. It was
Okay, so you knew there were other people in the car, but you didn't know who it was?
I knew who it was.
Who else did you recognize?
Raul Valle.
Okay, and how do you know Raul?
A St. Joe student was also with him a week before that.
And is Raul Valle present in the courtroom today?
Yes,
And what is he wearing?
a black suit and black tie.
Can you please point him out for the record? May the record reflect your honor, the witness identified the defendant in this case.
Court will reflect on the record that the witness has identified Mr. Valle. Thank you.
Now, do you know Ricky Fiola?
Yes,
Do you know Sal Perry?
yes,
Do you know Mike Sampieri?
yes,
Do you know Alex Bernstein?
yes,
Do you know Jake Villalobos?
yes,
Do you know Matthew Lakovich?
yes.
How do you know those individuals?
All friends growing up.
And were they present at
Yes.
Tyler Rich's house that night? So, now you said you were talking to Tyler Rich, or Tyler De Silva, excuse me, initially in front of the 43 Laurel Glen, did you notice, was the defendant saying anything or doing anything at this point?
I did not notice.
How long would you say your conversation lasted for with Tyler De Silva at that car?
Not even 30 seconds.
Do you recall what kind of car it was, by the way?
Dark SUV.
Okay. And so it was, you said 30 seconds?
Yeah.
At some point in time, well, withdrawn, was the conversation with Tyler De Silva, was it cordial? Was it peaceful?
It was peaceful.
At some point in time, did the interaction between either you and Mr. De Silva or anybody else around you in the car become not peaceful?
Not that I'm aware of.
What happened after that period of time speaking with Mr. De Silva?
I walked away and I went towards the front lawn where all the other rest of the party was there, just watching, just was talking with them.
So you had a conversation with Mr. De Silva in the street area for about 30 seconds, and then you walked away?
Yes.
Where did you walk to? Can you tell us on States 49?
In the driveway, a little bit to the left, like by like the lawn and like near the white car, kind of.
Like probably this area here?
A little bit more up though, or like down, like on the lawn.
Down here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if the record can reflect, the witnesses identifying in States 49 the front right passenger side wheel of this white pickup truck on the grass area. So when you were in that area, were you able to observe things that were going on at the car at that point, or what were you doing when you went back to that area?
I wasn't really paying attention to the car, but I was just talking with friends, like just, I don't recall what we were talking about, but just talking with them.
Now, how many people were in your area at that point in time? Do you remember?
Around 20.
20, okay. So there were about 10 kids or so at the car, and then 20 like back at near your area? At some point in time, did you have an occasion to see the car leave for any reason?
Yes.
Do you know why the car left?
No.
Do you recall hearing or seeing any type of altercation that happened at the car?
When the car was not moving?
Right.
No.
So when the car left, which way did it go? Did it go up in States 49, or did it go back towards Adams?
It went up.
Okay, and when it went up, tell us what you observed about what the car did.
When it went up, since there was people around the car, it sped off very, very fast, and kids got out the way, and then it turned around and came back, and stuff was thrown out, and then people picked up their stuff that was with our friends, and we threw stuff back while I was going back and forth speeding the car.
Were you involved in that at all?
No, I was not.
So did you stay in the area in front, on the grass area where you just described in States 49 when this was happening?
Yes.
How many times would you say the car drove up and down the street?
3 to 4.
And at some point in time, did it stop?
Yes.
And when it stopped, what did you do?
Stopped at the end of the road, north all the way down.
If I may approach the witness, Your Honor. Stage 1, show us on stage 1 where the car stopped.
At the intersection of Laurel Glen and Farmhouse Lane.
So in this area here? Yes. And when you saw the car stopped down in that area, what did you observe about it at that point? Did you observe the car just stopped, or tell us what you saw?
I noticed that 2 individuals got out of the car. So me and a couple of my friends went down there to talk to them.
And when you say a couple of your friends, do you recall who you were with?
Yes.
Who were you with?
Ty Wood, Matt Lockovich, Ricky Fiola, Tyler Rich. That's about it.
So you went down the street?
Hmm?
When you went down the street, did you go in a big mob? How did you make your way down the street?
A couple kids were farther up than me. We kind of went individual, or like in as twos, not as in a group.
Who were you closer to? Do you recall?
Ty Wood,
And who was further down the street? Do you know who was further down the street?
Tyler Rich, and Ricky Fiola.
Okay. And when you got down, how far did you get down the street, would you say, that night?
So where they were in the intersection?
And did you witness any interactions with anybody?
Yes.
What did you witness about any interactions at that point?
I witnessed that Ricky Fiola was talking to Raul Valle, and that me, Matt Lockovich, and Ty were talking to Tyler Da Silva.
And what were you guys talking about with him? What did you say to him? Did you say anything to him at that point?
Told him to leave. Said, buy the car, leave.
And did you, Ty Wood, or anybody else that you were with engage in any fighting behavior down Laurel Glen at that point in time?
No.
Did you witness Ricky Fiola and the defendant speaking to each other?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear what the defendant was saying at any point during that interaction?
No, I did not.
How long would you say the interaction was between you and Mr. Da Silva down the street when you told him to leave?
10 seconds.
And after you told him to leave, what did you do?
Turned around and walked back.
Walk back to Mr. Rich's house?
Mhm.
And how long would you say, did you observe the entire interaction between Mr. Fiola and the defendant?
Most of it, yeah.
Okay. Were they still talking when you turned around and walked back to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at some point in time, did you make it all the way back to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Did you walk back by yourself?
No.
Tell me about how you made it from where Tyler Rich was to back to 43 Laurel Glen.
I walked back with Ty Wood and Matt Locke, and the rest jogged up and caught up to us, and then we walked back together.
And did you discuss anything with Drawn? Who caught up with you and walked back with you at that point in time? Do you recall?
Ricky Fiola, Tyler Rich, Matt Locke, Ty Wood.
And did you guys discuss what had happened down the street?
Yes.
And in particular, did you have a conversation with Ricky Fiola?
Yes, I did.
And after that conversation happened, did you guys all make your way back into Mr. Rich's basement?
Yes.
And how long would you say you were back in the basement for?
30 seconds.
And at some point in time, did you exit the basement after 30 seconds?
Yes.
Why did you exit the basement?
I was told that they're back.
And when you were told that they were back, how did you get out of the basement? The same way you went in?
Same way I went in.
And when you came out of the basement, where did you go? Do you recall where you went?
Yes.
Stage 4. Can you see in stage 4 where you went?
Yes, I went. I was hanging out by the basement doors and slowly creeping up, but I kept my distance from what was going on.
What was going on when you came outside?
It was like I saw people like lined up face to face, like talking to each other.
Show you stage 6. Can you show me in stage 6 where you saw people lined up?
Towards the left, by between like the bush and the truck.
So somewhere in this area here?
Yes.
And who was in that area at the time when you came outside?
I saw Ty Wood, Ryan Hines, Tyler Rich, Tyler Da Silva, and Raul Valle.
And what were you observing about all of them?
They were just face to face talking.
Who was face-to-face talking to Tyler Da Silva? Do you recall?
Tyler Rich.
And who was anybody talking to the defendant?
Yes.
And who was talking to the defendant?
Ryan Hines and Ty Wood.
And do you recall? Can you tell us on this exhibit here, stage 6, where was Tyler Da Silva standing as opposed to where was the defendant standing? Can you show us in this exhibit?
Tyler Da Silva was more to the left, like was to the left side, and Raul was to the right. They were next to each other, but Raul was on the right and Tyler was on the left.
So Raul was probably closer to this red bush here.
Yes, and Tyler was closer to the truck. They were right next to each other.
And when they were talking, describe what the conversation was like when they were face to face.
I wasn't close enough to hear.
So you just heard. What did you hear? Were they just talking, or were they? Was it loud?
It seemed more not peaceful as the other conversations were. It seemed like something was stirring up, that they're getting louder and louder, but I didn't know what they were talking about.
So were you still back by the Bilko doors?
Yes.
Back here?
Yes.
You were witnessing this from back where this in stage 6. See, there's like this AC unit back here. Were you back over here?
Yes.
But could you, from your vantage point, could you see what was going on? How could you see what was going on over here?
There was a clear view.
Were there lights?
Yes, there was a garage light shined right at them.
Did anybody else have their phones out? Was there lights on at this point?
No, not that I'm aware of.
But from that vantage, how far do you think it is from this area where the AC unit is next to the Bilko door to where this area is here?
About 20 feet.
20 feet? So you could see what's going on, you could hear what's going on. Could you make out the exact words that people were saying? I mean,
At the time, maybe, but I don't recall it there.
okay, that's fine. How long would you say the conversation lasted for between the parties?
That conversation right there?
Yeah.
10 to 15 seconds.
And after 10 to 15 seconds, what, if anything, did you observe?
I observed Raul making a movement and Tyler Rich coming across and punching him in the face.
Did you, now when this was going on, when you were observing and listening to what was going on, were you making your way closer to?
Yes.
Okay. And so at some point in time, prior to the punch that you saw, how close were you in this exhibit? Can you tell us?
A little bit farther from me to you right now.
Okay, so probably about 10 feet?
Yeah.
And at that point in time, you saw the defendant make a move?
Yes.
What was the move like? Can you describe what it was like? Can you show us?
I like something like that, but like something like this with no contact though. Like just went like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was trying to do, but Tyler Rich just came across and punched him in the face.
And when Tyler Rich came across and punched him in the face, what happened after that?
Two fights kind of broke out separate ways, and I just watched my brother run over to the fight that was going towards the left side, which I saw Ryan Hines and Faison Teal over there with Raul Valle fighting him, and I saw my brother running over there, so then I started running over there.
So you started, when you say you started running over, let me see. This is stage 52. Can you show us on stage 52 where you said the fights broke up or
Yes.
went out? Show us. Can you show us on stage 52?
Started here, and I went towards this way.
That's where you walked.
That's where I walked,
And where was the fight going towards the right there?
around right here.
Okay. So they were closer to the house when the fight started?
Yes. There, it was around right here, and one fight went this way, the other fight went this way.
Okay. And you started following the fight to the left?
Yes.
And that was the fight that involved who?
My brother, Tommy Connery, Ryan Hines, and Faison Teal.
And what did you observe about that fight when you were following it?
Well, I ran over there, and then by the time I got there, I didn't do anything. I just stood and watched, and I saw Tommy sort of stand over him as well, but more in it. I saw Ryan like on top of him, and I saw Faison also like, or like on top of him, like not on top of him, but like next to him, like fighting.
So is there a path of travel, we'll say, that the fight took when you were observing this? Did it stay in one area or did it constantly move?
It first stayed in one area, but then everyone got off of Raul, and then he walked away, and that fight was over.
Can you show me like where that all happened, to the best of your recollection?
Like happened over here,
Yeah.
then everyone like got off there, and like all like walked like towards this way, around over here.
Okay. And when you saw that happen, where did you follow?
Yeah, I followed him.
Show me the path that you followed.
I kept a far distance from him the whole entire time, and when he was like over here, I was over here, and if he made his way this way, I was over here. Just
Keep my distance from him, but keep my eye on him
Why did you do that?
because I was aware that he had a knife.
And did you engage in the fight at all?
No.
So what did you observe when you walked? So you did like correct me if I'm wrong, you did almost like a semicircle?
Yes.
And what did you observe about the defendant as you're doing this semicircle?
I observed when he got out of the fight, some people pushed him to get even more out of the way and get him into the road and get him out of here and like just have him leave. And I just kept observing him walking, and I watched him walk towards the car.
Okay. So let me stop you there. Can I just take this for a second? So this is stage 52. So you witnessed the fight happen somewhere in this area here?
yeah.
Just above the, so the initial interaction between the Silva and the defendant were in this area here between, next to the black truck.
Yes.
652. Fight breaks out, the Silva gets pushed back this way towards where the tree is in stage 52.
Yes.
And fight between the defendant, Hines, your brother, and Teal is somewhere in this area here.
Yes.
And I'm pointing to the area north of the red tree in stage 52 on the left-hand side. So, at some point in time, you say the fight, they let go, they let off of him,
Yes.
and you kind of follow this area, in the semicircle, the defendant makes his way over here, and you see another group push him out. What do you tell us about that?
I saw like a couple kids like just give him like a little shove to just get him off the property on
Show me where you saw that happen.
around here and just push back in here and everyone just step back. You know, hand up here.
Okay, so, in stage 52, we're talking about the right-hand side of the photo, Your Honor, near the curve, probably just south of the right red bush.
So noted.
And when you saw that happen, did your attention go anywhere else at that point?
No.
Now, was your eye on the defendant the entire time that this was going on?
Yes.
Do you know if Jimmy McGrath was involved in the fight, and the fight was going on over here initially with the defendant and your brother, Faison, and Ryan?
He was not there.
Was Jimmy McGrath involved in anything going on to the right over here?
No.
Do you know where Jimmy McGrath was at this point in time?
No.
Okay. And when you came and did the semicircle, at some point in time, did you notice Jimmy McGrath at some point?
When I was going to circle around here?
Yeah.
No, I still didn't.
Okay. At what point did you see Jimmy McGrath outside at some point?
Yes,
After. Okay. So when you did the semicircle, you said you noticed the defendant walk back to the car.
Yes.
Tell me where you saw him walk back to the car.
Walked back to the car over here.
Okay. And what did
And I was following him. So I was like over here, got my eye on him. And he opens the door. And then he closes it. And he goes right back in. And I starts
Yelling, he has a knife, he has a knife, he has a knife, because I thought he just went and grabbed it, but unfortunately I was wrong.
And when you yelled that he had a knife, did you see him have a knife on him at that point in time?
No.
What did you observe about the defendant when he came back onto the property?
I saw him next to Tyler Da Silva, and they were both in the road, and no one was going after them. No one was going near them. They were just, everyone was just looking at each other, and then the defendant went after the closest person to him, who was Jimmy McGrath, and stabbed him.
Do you recall if Jimmy McGrath tried to engage withdrawn? Did you see Jimmy McGrath at this point in time, just prior to the defendant stabbing Jimmy?
I saw him right before it, like right before he got stabbed.
Did it appear that Jimmy McGrath, was he trying to engage the defendant?
No, he wasn't.
Did it appear did Jimmy have a weapon on him that night?
No, he did not.
Did Jimmy approach the defendant in any manner whatsoever, from your perspective?
No, he didn't.
So tell us about what you saw. He comes onto the grass area. When he's on the grass area, do you know where the rest of the people are at this point in time?
Sort of stepping back a little bit from Raul and Tyler Silva, because they've heard that I've yelled he had a knife, and people were kind of stepping back to where they were, like more towards the middle of the lawn, or somewhere around the lawn, not near the road. And the defendant went after the closest person to him, which was Jimmy.
So where was Jimmy standing that you recall?
around here.
Okay, so that's just to the right. It's like on States 52, just upwards and just slightly to the right of where the mailbox was.
Yes.
There is. So, what did you? So take us through it. He comes back on the lawn. You scream he's got a knife. And then what is he? Where's Jimmy's? Where? When he's on the lawn. When the defendant's on the lawn, where's Jimmy?
When the defendant comes back, he's over here. Jimmy's around over here.
Okay.
And everyone's around here. Now I'm like right here. And then the defendant comes on the lawn, and Jimmy's right here.
And tell me what you saw at that point.
I saw the defendant.
Go after Jimmy aggressively, and Jimmy was trying to get away, and he stabbed him.
Did you see Jimmy take a step back? What did you see?
I saw Jimmy trying to avoid it.
Yeah. And what happened?
Didn't.
And where did you see him stab Jimmy McGrath?
Sort of like, from my point of view, it looked like the upper stomach range, like lower chest, like right around here.
Okay. So if the record can reflect, Your Honor, he's indicating on his own body just the upper stomach area below the left chest area. And when you saw the defendant stab Jimmy, what, if anything, did you observe or hear next?
I yelled out Jimmy's name twice, saying "Jimmy, Jimmy," and he turned around and said, "I've been stabbed." And then the next second, he collapsed to the ground.
And when he collapsed, what, if anything, did you do next?
I froze and I saw a couple people running towards him, and then I just started hearing screams of someone yelling, "I need stitches! I need stitches!"
Do you know who that was?
Yes, I turned around and saw my brother on the ground, just like covered in blood.
And where was your brother? If you can use States 52, do you recall where you saw your brother?
I was right here, and Jimmy was right here, and kind of like that.
So your brother was back on the other side of maybe where that tree is?
Yeah.
Yes.
And was there anybody with him at this point in time, do you recall?
Yes, Will Berardi was with him.
And who was Will Berardi?
He's my cousin.
And when you saw your brother, did you go to your brother at that point?
Yes.
And what did you observe about where was he stabbed? Do you recall?
Above his left leg, above his knee.
Was that the first time you realized that your brother had been stabbed?
Yes.
What was his leg like when you saw that?
Bloody, like multiple wounds.
And did you try to help your brother out?
Yeah, I immediately ripped my shirt off and tied it around his leg to form pressure. And then my brother's friends told me to walk away, that they had him, and I wouldn't. And then my brother was looking at me and he's saying that, "Go help Jimmy, I'll be fine." And then I walked away.
So when your brother said that, did you go and try to help Jimmy?
I walked over there and there was a lot of people around him to the point I wouldn't even make room over there. But I walked over and I saw the condition Jimmy McGrath was in. And I just turned around and walked away.
What did you notice about Jimmy's condition at that point in time?
Very pale. A lot of blood, shorts covered in red.
Did you notice if anybody else was stabbed that night?
When I walked around, I noticed that Brian Hines and Faison Teal were also stabbed.
And at some point in time, did somebody call the police?
Yes.
Who called the police?
Will Berardi called the police. I'm aware of that. I'm assuming multiple people also did. I know that Will Berardi did.
And did the police at some point arrive?
Yes.
And did you speak to the police that night?
Yes, I did.
And did you tell them everything you told us here today?
Yes, I did.
Now, I'll show you State 60. We've slowed it down in areas. I want to just make sure that we're talking about the same thing. Have you seen the video of this fight?
Yes, I have.
Now, can you tell us prior to us starting it, whether or not, does this video show the entire fight of what happened on May 14th of 2022?
No, it doesn't.
And in recalling, in seeing this, do you recall at what point we see the video start? Do you recall? Well, we'll watch it. I'll tell you when to stop. So you see this area here of kids that just went over this way to the right?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the period of time where you testified prior to that there were kids pushing the defendant out to the street?
Yes.
And this individual down here, do you recall seeing this individual in the blue on the ground?
No, I don't.
Okay, so your focus is over here?
Yes.
Okay, and do you recall Using State 60, where are you at this point in time?
I'm walking around towards near where people are getting pushed out.
So is this you right here in the black shorts and white shirt?
That could be.
And you're witnessing what's going on?
Yes.
Did you get involved in the fight?
No, I did not.
Do you recall if Jimmy McGrath was involved over here?
No, he wasn't.
And at some point in time, you say this defendant goes back to the
Yes.
Yes, sir!
Stop right there. Now, who's this individual coming into the frame right here on the right?
That's me.
And do you recall where Jimmy was at this point in time?
No, I do not.
Do you know who this is with the blue shirt and white pants?
Yes, that's Jimmy.
At that point in time, do you recall seeing Jimmy?
Yes.
And do you recall if he was fighting with anybody at that point in time?
No, he wasn't.
Okay, good. Stop. Now, you see, who's that being pushed out into the street?
Tyler Da Silva.
You remember seeing that on the night in question?
Yes.
You remember the defendant coming back onto the property at that point?
Yes.
And is this the point in time where you testified on direct earlier that people were just standing there and there was no more?
Yes.
And at this point in time, when the defendant is coming back onto the property, what is happening? Because you can see part of the video, we don't see what's at some point goes out of view. What do you recall happening at this moment?
People looking at them too, backing up a little bit, and no one fighting, no one like saying words or anything, just looking at each other like.
Do you recall what the defendant did when he came back on the property? Did he slip and fall?
No, he went after the closest person to him, which was Jimmy, and with a purpose, and stabbed him.
Do you recall whether or not Matt Lakovich was close to Jimmy at this point in time?
Yes, he was.
Okay. But Jimmy was closer to the defendant?
Yes.
And how close would you say Jimmy was to the defendant just prior to this slide here? Or this is frame 426. How close was Jimmy at this point in time?
5 to 10 feet.
Okay, play. At that point in time, what are you witnessing here?
I see Jimmy avoiding someone stepping back.
So frame 535, Jimmy is actually stepping back? Is that the point where you see him get stabbed by the defendant?
Around 3 seconds right after that, yes.
Now, after this happened about, you said you spoke to the police how many times?
I spoke to them twice that night.
Do you remember speaking to them on about 3 weeks later, June 8th? Did you do any type of walkthrough with?
Yeah, I did a walkthrough.
And what do you remember what you told the police with regards to where Jimmy was stabbed?
Like on his body wear?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you recall if you ever told him that he was stabbed in the gut?
I said he was stabbed in the stomach, the upper region of it.
Why would you say that he was stabbed in the stomach?
Because from my angle, that's what it looked like.
So when he's stepping back,
It looked like below his chest, like from just below his chest down, like for that's his stomach. So the upper region of that.
okay.
So I told him he got stabbed in the stomach because when it happened, I didn't know how he was going to be.
Now, when the defendant stabs Mr. McGrath, What, if anything, did you observe? Did you observe him pull the knife out of his chest?
I observed his fist like this, and from the light of the house, the light from the car around, I was able to see uh, something shining with his hand like this, something shining out of it.
Okay. So he goes up, stabs like this, and then pulls out, and you see it?
Yes.
And then when he pulls the knife out of his chest, where do you see what do you see the defendant do next?
Run to the car.
Does he get back to the car?
Yeah.
Do you see him get in the car?
Yes.
Do you see De Silva follow him to the car? What do you see? Do you know what happened to De Silva after that?
I assume he was in the car, but I didn't see him.
You didn't see where he went? Okay. When the defendant got back to the car, by the way, which way was the car facing when it came back? Was it facing towards Adams or towards Farmhouse?
Towards Adams.
And when they got back into the car at that point in time, which way did you see the car leave?
Yeah.
Where did it leave?
Towards Adams.
Okay. At that point in time, did you ever see the car after that night?
No, I didn't.
How would you describe the situation both during and after the fight at the house?
After the fight?
Yeah, during and after. Was it chaotic?
Yeah, at first it was like chaotic, and then after it was completely worse than like just people screaming, people trying to stay calm, people trying to give aid to people that were bleeding, and like, neighbors came and helped, and it was just people running around calling the cops. Ambulance showed up. The cops drove down the wrong road, and I had to run out and chase them to tell them that I was this way because I saw them miss the house, and just running around, and then actually had to calm down and stay calm and be calm in that moment and just see what was going on, see everyone, talk to them, like make sure everyone's just helping, and that was really it.
I can't remember if I asked you this question, but I'm gonna ask you. When the defendant was talking to he was talking to Tywood before the fight starts. Is he arguing with Tywood?
Not that I'm aware of. It was they were talking. It was high pitched. I didn't know if they were arguing or they were just talking loud. I'm assuming they were probably arguing, but I don't know.
Were you not close enough to really hear, other than it was loud?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that night, did you see Jimmy McGrath with a knife in his hand at this point in time,
Jimmy with a knife?
or with any type of weapon?
No.
Did you see Tyler De Silva with a weapon in his hand that night?
No, I did not.
Did you see any of your friends with any types of weapons in their hands, both before, during, and after the fight?
No one had weapons.